The WNBA just stepped straight into its worst nightmare. The one player who carried the league, packed arenas, and drove record-breaking viewership is officially out for the season. Caitlin Clark, the league's golden ticket, confirms she won't be returning in 2025, and the fallout is nothing short of catastrophic. For months, fans were left in limbo, with vague injury updates, no clear timetable, and whispers that the league was deliberately stalling the truth to keep ratings alive. Now the truth is out, and it's uglier than anyone expected. The announcement hit on the very same day the NFL season kicked off, varying the news cycle and leaving WNBA executives scrambling for air. To call this a disaster would be an understatement. This isn't just about one player missing time. This is about the collapse of a narrative, the exposure of a fragile business model, and the reality check that fans feared from the start. Without Caitlin Clark, there is no WNBA growth story. The league's so-called rise has been reduced to smoke and mirrors. One announcement shattered the illusion, and now the panic is spreading from fans to sponsors to executives who built everything around one superstar. But how did it get to this point? And why was the league so unprepared for the fallout? Let's break it down.
Caitlin Clark's season was cut short after just 13 games. Her last appearance came in mid-July when she went down with a groin injury. Normally, a superstar of her caliber would get a clear recovery timetable, medical updates, and transparency with fans, but that never happened. Instead, the Indiana Fever and the WNBA went silent. No one knew when or even if she would return. Each week brought the same vague answers. Coaches dodged questions, team officials gave the same recycled lines, "She's progressing," or "We'll see." Fans began to suspect something bigger was going on. Was Clark's injury worse than they were letting on? Or was the league deliberately dragging out the suspense to keep fans engaged? That theory gained traction quickly, especially as ticket sales and ratings continued to rely almost entirely on her presence. Fans accused the league of stringing them along, dangling the hope of a Clark comeback to keep cash flowing through the turnstiles. And the longer the silence dragged on, the angrier people became. For weeks, social media was full of speculation that executives knew she was done but refused to say it out loud. Then, in one blunt announcement, Clark herself ended the circus. No miracle return, no secret playoff comeback, just a clear statement: she was finished for the year. One line, and the illusion crumbled. But if fans thought the injury updates were frustrating, the ratings fallout turned into a full-blown disaster. Before Clark's injury, Indiana's games averaged over 1.2 million viewers, a staggering number for the WNBA. But the moment she went down on July 15th, everything fell apart. Ratings dropped to around 400,000 per broadcast, a jaw-dropping 70% collapse. And that was while fans still held on to hope that she might return. Once Clark confirmed she was done, the numbers didn't just dip, they fell off a cliff. The league's so-called historic growth vanished overnight, replaced by empty seats and TV audiences that barely registered. Without Clark, the product lost its shine. Broadcasters that had been advertising Fever games as must-watch events were suddenly left scrambling, trying to hype up matchups no one cared about. The painful truth was impossible to ignore. Fans weren't tuning in for the WNBA, they were tuning in for Caitlin Clark. And without her, the games felt hollow. Even Indiana, the one franchise keeping the league afloat, couldn't mask the collapse. What had been the hottest ticket in sports quickly turned into an afterthought. Executives feared this exact scenario, and now it was here. Ratings weren't just bad, they were catastrophic. And if the TV numbers were devastating, the financial ripple effect that followed was even worse.
Caitlin Clark wasn't just a basketball star, she was a billion-dollar economy. Sports economist Ryan Brewer projected her impact at over $1 billion in one season, counting merchandise, ticket sales, media deals, and tourism. The data backs it up. Jerseys sold out nationwide. NBA arenas filled when she came to town. But without her, the numbers cratered. Ticket resale prices told the story best. In Chicago, a Clark-led matchup had tickets selling for $86. The moment she was ruled out, prices fell to $25. In Washington, the drop was even more humiliating. The Mystics moved a game to a bigger arena in Baltimore, expecting Clark's star power to draw a crowd. Once fans learned she wasn't playing, resale tickets collapsed from $41 to $1. $1! That's not a market correction, that's humiliation. These collapses exposed how dependent the league had become on one player. Teams gambled their schedules, their venues, and their revenue streams on Clark's appearances. When she went down, they were left holding empty arenas. It wasn't just about money, it was about perception. Sponsors, broadcasters, and casual fans all realized the same thing. Without Clark, the WNBA had no draw. And if the financial nightmare wasn't bad enough, it revealed an even deeper problem. The league didn't just fail to build depth, it actively failed to protect its star. For all the hype about league growth, one ugly truth stands out. The WNBA didn't protect Caitlin Clark. From day one, opponents targeted her with cheap shots, hard fouls, and unnecessary contact. She absorbed elbows, shoulders, and hacks at a level no rookie should endure. Statistically, it was even worse. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the league were committed against Clark. That's not coincidence, that's a pattern. Her arrival was met with jealousy from rivals who resented the attention she brought. Instead of celebrating her impact, players tried to knock her down, literally. And the referees? They let it happen. Game after game, Clark took hits with little to no protection from officials. Even her own coaches seemed powerless to stop it. The WNBA's leadership ignored the growing problem, too focused on ticket sales and short-term hype to realize the long-term damage being done. The result? The league's only true superstar is now sidelined for an entire season. They gambled everything on Clark, but failed to give her the basic protection every star deserves. It wasn't just bad luck, it was negligence. And when the league's negligence came to light, the backlash from fans and media grew even louder.
The announcement didn't just disappoint fans, it enraged them. For months, they felt misled by vague updates and false hope. When Clark finally revealed the truth herself, frustration boiled over. Social media was flooded with accusations that the league and the Fever had strung everyone along. Fans who bought tickets expecting to see her felt cheated. Commentators piled on too. Jason Whitlock declared he was done covering the WNBA without Clark. Colin Cowherd admitted he stopped discussing the league because she wasn't playing. That kind of honesty cut deep. National sports shows that had once opened with Clark highlights went silent. Without her, the WNBA vanished from mainstream conversation. ESPN and Fox Sports barely mentioned it. The only people keeping the discussion alive were podcasters, YouTubers, and independent creators. That's not growth, that's survival mode. And for the WNBA, it was an embarrassing regression. Fans realized what the league had tried to hide. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a piece of the puzzle, she was the puzzle. And the timing of her announcement made it even more devastating. Clark could have dragged things out. She could have kept fans hoping for a playoff return, allowing the league to limp along on false suspense. Instead, she ripped off the Band-Aid with surgical precision. One line on social media, "I will not be returning this season," and the entire house of cards collapsed. Her timing wasn't accidental. By announcing it just as the playoffs loomed, she killed any illusion of hope. The Fever's postseason dreams evaporated, and the WNBA's biggest storyline vanished overnight. Ironically, the move made Clark look even more powerful. While executives panicked, she appeared calm, honest, and even regal in the way she took control of her narrative. The timing also exposed the league's fragility. For months, they pushed the idea that the WNBA was bigger than one player. But the second she confirmed she was out, all the air left the room. The truth was undeniable. Without Clark, the league had no momentum, no storyline, no draw, just empty hype. And as fans processed the announcement, one question echoed everywhere. How did it come to this? The answer lies in the mistakes that could have been avoided. This nightmare wasn't fate. It was a product of bad decisions and worse management. Reports suggest Clark tried to return earlier than she should have.
rushed back to satisfy ticket sales and broadcast commitments. That decision backfired. Instead of prioritizing her long-term health, the Fever gambled on a quick comeback and lost. Then came the league's failure to step in. Referees allowed dangerous levels of contact against her all season. Executives ignored warning signs. The GM, coach, and president of the Fever lost credibility as fans accused them of lying about her status. Every piece of this disaster was preventable. Had the league protected Clark from excessive hits? Had the Fever been transparent about her condition? Had executives valued health over money? This season might have looked very different. Instead, they mismanaged their greatest asset, and now the bill has come due. The result is a postseason without its brightest star, sponsors questioning their investments, and fans wondering if they can trust the league at all. The WNBA didn't just lose a player, they lost the faith of the audience. And now, with the playoffs approaching, the league faces its bleakest reality yet.
The WNBA playoffs are supposed to be a showcase of elite basketball. Instead, they risk becoming irrelevant. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever are barely hanging on to a playoff spot, and the rest of the bracket looks hollow. Networks like ESPN and ABC are bracing for disaster. During Clark's first absence, ratings dropped over 50%. Now, with her gone for the entire postseason, the collapse could be even worse. Fans who built travel plans and bought tickets months in advance are walking away. Corporate sponsors who signed deals expecting Clark at center stage are rethinking their investments. And for casual viewers, the drama is dawn. They weren't tuning in to see who won the championship, they were tuning in to see if anyone could beat Caitlin Clark. Without her, the story evaporates. The WNBA Finals risk looking less like marquee events and more like meaningless scrimmages. And the cruel irony? Clark doesn't need the league nearly as much as it needs her. She'll recover, rest, and remain a cultural icon. Meanwhile, the WNBA is left scrambling to sell a postseason nobody asked for. This isn't just a bump in the road, it's an existential crisis.
Caitlin Clark wasn't just the WNBA's biggest star, she was the WNBA. Her absence exposed the league's fragile foundation and reckless dependence on one player. Executives gambled everything on her while failing to protect her, and now they're paying the price. Empty arenas, collapsing ratings, and sponsors pulling back. Fans who once filled stadiums are walking away, frustrated by secrecy and mismanagement. Broadcasters who hyped her every move are bracing for ratings black holes. And the league itself, once parading its historic growth, is left with the harshest truth possible. Without Clark, there is no WNBA buzz. Her injury wasn't just a blow to Indiana. It was an existential crisis for the entire league. And while Clark will recover, the WNBA may not. The season's collapse is a case study in how to mishandle your golden goose. And now everyone is asking the same question. Who's to blame? The referees? The executives? Or jealous rivals who targeted her instead of protecting the future of the game? Comment down below who you think is responsible for this mess. One thing is certain, the WNBA just lost its biggest star, and the league's future has never looked more uncertain.